I really think that if you had to put two things on a calculator, we'll get more into it next year, actually. Basically, they want us to do a point of intersection on the, oh boy, it's going to not let me even draw on it. Come on. It's going to take its sweet time this afternoon. Look, there's the drawing menu finally. Okay, so we're going to cross these out. We're not going to worry about the graphing calculator ones. We will deal with learning how to use the graphing calculator when we actually are all of us are here in the seats next year. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with these multiple angle equations. So the goal is to get through 23, 24, 25, 26, and then I'm going to touch on 27, but we're not going to do it. Okay, I'm going to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about our plan for next week. Okay, once you're in, Connor, you can shut that door for me, okay? So we get fewer flies.
You need 2 or 3 because in your email it just said 2, so she just.
I need 3.
Okay, she said you can call her and then I can just walk back to pick up the 3rd.
Just tell her that, okay, go walk back and pick up the 3rd. I'll email her really fast since I'm not by the phone. I thought it said I told her 3.
Want me to still close the door right now?
No, it's okay. Wait until you come back. Needed 3. Sorry. Okay. There we go. All right. So we are going to talk about these multiple angle equations. So again, our trig acts like a variable, right? So it's going to act like an x. It looks a little different though, because did you notice today that we have something inside of the trig other than a just a single variable with no number in front, right? There's a coefficient in front of our variable in there. So we're going to tweak it just a little bit today, okay? So I am going to start by adding 1 to both sides. So we've got 2 cosine of 3t equals 1. What do you all think we're going to do with that 2 now? What do you think we're going to do with the 2 to get it to the other side? Help me out. Put it in the chat. What do you think we're going to do with the 2? You guys can just say it in the room. You don't have to put it in the chat. Good. All right, so we're going to divide both sides by the 2. So we've got cosine of 3t equals 1/2. All right, now we're going to go to our unit circle, just like we did before, okay? And we're going to find that on the unit circle. Is cosine the x value or the y value? Good. All right, I'm seeing a lot of x's. Okay, so we're going to go over to my unit circle. I think I've got one hide. Oh, maybe. Oh, yes, I do. Yay, I've got one hiding. All right, so we're going to go and find our x values that are 1/2, positive 1/2. So I see one here, so pi over 3. I see another one here, so 5 pi over 3. And I'm going to write it a little differently than I did before. I would write x equals or theta equals or t equals and just list them. But I'm going to write it as pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. Previously, we said that x equals or whatever theta equals, but what we really are doing is saying that this whatever's inside of there equals each one of those things. And now I'm going to solve for that variable that's on the inside. So in order to reverse that 3, I would need to multiply by 1/3 or divide by 3. I'm choosing multiply by 1/3 because I've got denominators to deal with on the right side. So these would cancel. And we would get t equals pi over 9. These would cancel, and we would get t equals 5 pi over 9. And that's what we're looking for our final answer. Okay. So we're going to try this again. Okay. So we're going to look at number 24 because we want to be even, right? So we have an odd, and then we're going to be even. All right, we're going to subtract the 3 to the other side. So 3 tangent of x over 2 equals -3. I'm going to divide by that 3. So I get tangent of x over 2 equals -3 over 3, which is better known as -1. You could just write -1 and I'd be okay with that. You don't necessarily need the line with the 3 over 3. Okay. All right, we've done this like 1,000 times. Hopefully we know this by now. So what that means, well, first of all, is tangent in sine and cosine world is what? Tangent in sine and cosine world is what? Good. Okay. It's sine divided by cosine. Nice. So I know that sine divided by cosine has to be -1, meaning that I need the same number on the top and the bottom, one of them to be positive and one to be negative, or the one on top to be negative and the one on the bottom to be positive. So I'm looking everywhere where I would have opposite signs but the same number. So I'm seeing same number, opposite signs, so I get 3 pi over 4. So I'm going to write down 3 pi over 4. Okay, same number, same sign, same number, opposite signs. So I'm going to write down 7 pi over 4. And then what we just learned is we set whatever's on the inside here equal to that radian measure. Okay. What would I have to do now with the 2 to get the 2 to the other side? What operation? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. What do you guys think? Good. All right, I'm seeing a lot of multiplies in the chat. Awesome. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. I tend not to write that on the right side. We're just going to cancel itself. So this goes, or sorry, the left side. So that's going to cancel. We get 3 pi over 2. Over here, we're going to get 7 pi over 2. All right, so this should not have been there. We're going to go between 0 and 2 pi. Now, technically, one of our answers is extraneous because our original instructions said, hey, use between 0 and 2 pi. And if I count 7 pi, right, this is 1 pi, sorry, yeah, 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, 6 pi over 2, 7 pi over 2 is beyond 2 pi. So that one's technically extraneous. Okay, so we would just get 3 pi over 2. Okay. Probably going to try not to do that to you, but if it happens, that's what's going on. Okay, I'm going to try 2 more of them here. All right, we've got secant, right? Secant's not on our unit circle, but its reciprocal is. Before I do that, what is always, always, always in any denominator? If there's nothing there, what is always assumed to be in the denominator? Put that in the chat for me. Not hearing from everybody. I should see everybody. The whole class should know that one without fail. All right, so we've got some 1s going on there. I know there's a 1 in the denominator. Okay, so now I do know secant has a reciprocal. Can you guys tell me what is secant's reciprocal? What trig function is secant's reciprocal? Okay. Seeing a lot of cosine. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to write cosine of 4x on the left, and I'm going to flip the reciprocal on the right, 1 over 2. Okay, I want you, I'm not going to look at the unit circle. I want you all to look at the unit circle. I want you to find where the cosine is equal to positive 1/2. Okay, don't put it in the chat yet. We will in a minute, but not yet. Write those 2 numbers down on your piece of paper. So write those 2 numbers down on your piece of paper right now, okay? Okay, put them in the chat. What 2 numbers did you come up with? What 2 radian measures did you find? All right. I'm not seeing everybody yet. I want to see everybody in the chat. Okay, so I'm seeing pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. I'm just going to double check, okay? X values 1/2 pi over 3. X values 1/2 5 pi over 3. You guys are absolutely right. Nice work, everybody. So pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. All right. We have to move that 4 to the other side. How do I move that 4 to the other side now? What do we have to do? What do you think? Okay. We are most definitely going to divide that over. But division, remember, is like multiplying by its reciprocal, right? Because if I divide that to the right side, not going to help me, but I could also multiply by 1/4. So that's going to help me. So I get pi over 12 and 5 pi over 12. Okay. We've got one more. Oh, and Angelica, nice job. I like the multiply. I didn't see the multiply by reciprocal come up when I was doing the problem. All right, so I want you to find it this time for tangent. Okay, this one is simplified kind of already for us. We just have to do we just have to find the two angle measures, right? We don't have any other algebra to do first. So I need to know, because if it simplifies to 1, that means the sine and the cosine are equal, right? They're exactly the same. So I want you to find, don't type it in the chat yet. You can type it in, but don't hit enter. Let's do that. You can type it in, but don't hit enter. Find the two places on the unit circle where your sine and the cosine are exactly the same, and that we want those radian measures. So type it in the chat, but don't hit enter yet. Okay, you can hit enter. Let's see what you got. Got about 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, looking a little bit better now. So we were looking here, the sine and the cosine, the x and the y value exactly the same at pi over 4, and exactly the same at 5 pi over 4. So we're going to write both of those out. So pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. All right, how do I get the 3 to the other side? What am I going to have to do? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. What are we going to have to do there? What do you guys think? All right. It's looking good. We're going to have to multiply that over. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So I get x equals 3 pi over 4 and x equals 15 pi over 4. I believe 15 pi over 4 is probably going to be extraneous, right? If I started counting that out, let's see, all the way around is 8 pi, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, this one's bigger than 2 pi. So I would probably count that as extraneous, okay? But if you're practicing the two answers, I'm super happy. Okay, but if something comes up on the homework and it's not marking it right, it's probably because it went outside the 2 pi. Okay? All right. I want to talk about 27. We're not going to do it all the way. Okay? But I want to talk about the concept of 27 because we are going to have to take MDTP soon, next week. Okay? And we're going to, whatchamacallit, we need to make sure we understand this, okay, for that. So let's pretend that this was really like x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Yesterday we said, hey, let's do the magic x. So we would need two numbers that multiply to -2 and add to -3. Well, the only two numbers that multiply to 2 are 2 and 1, right? So, but I have to have one of them negative to multiply to a negative, but look at what happens. I can't get -3 out of that, and I can't get -3 out of that. So if the magic x doesn't work, and I need to solve a quadratic, what else can we do? There's actually two other ways that we can do that problem. Who remembers? What are the two other ways? Or one of the two, the more popular of the two. Something we would have memorized. What do you guys think? We might have seen maybe a square root in it. So we've got some squared things. Does anybody remember the name of what we have to do when factoring does not work? Nobody? You guys have been doing it for a really long time. Did it in Algebra 1. Guess it's not that long. I don't know if we saw it in 8th grade math. I don't think so. We don't know? Okay, I'm gonna put a hint on the screen. I'm gonna put this and this. Does that help? Up, up. Alondra's got half of it right. It's quadratic something. Oh, there we go, Ariana. Good job. Roxana got it. Good. Okay, so it's so when we can't do the magic X, right? We have to do the quadratic formula. So remember, quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that might come up next week. I don't know because I haven't looked at the test that closely, but it could come up, all right? So just like we could do factoring with trig, we could do the quadratic formula with trig, but I'm not going to do it, okay? I'm not going to assign any that do this, all right? So we're going to get rid of 27 and 28, okay? So here's what I did for today, okay? I gave you the assignments today are just getting 10.2's notes and 10.3's notes cleaned up and turned in, okay? I'm going to assign homework on the last 2 days tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to kind of give you a work day to work on assignments, but including that new homework assignment, okay? So that's part of your work for tomorrow, okay? Either Thursday or Friday. I think Thursday in this class, I will probably go on to the next lesson, okay? Friday, I'm probably going to do a little MDTP review because I know we start hitting AP exams next week, okay? I don't want you stressing about MDTP. It's just something we got to get done. But it's been a while since we've done some of the algebra, and I don't want you guys to tank, okay? Right now, because they're heavily looking at these test scores right now,